Welcome to Sales Team Rescue, episode number 74. I am your host, Jeremy Demersion, and today we have another special guest. Now, Jesse, you let me know if anything that I'm about to say is too much of a stretch, okay? All right. So, Jessie Alexandra is an entrepreneur who specializes in children's haircuts and styles. She's well versed in building hair salons, having run a multi-million-dollar salon for many years, and then moving on to open up her own salon, which she sold earlier this year for an offer she couldn't refuse. She's now in the infant stages of launching her business building curriculum specifically to help salon owners build seven-figure empires. Jessie, welcome to Sales Team Rescue.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Now, we happen to connect because we were both in the right place at the right time, studying another, sales and business mentor, Mr. 10X himself. And you were like, hey, I want to put myself out there. I want to make connections. And it was great. We had a conversation and you're on Sales Team Rescue. So it's super good to have you.
Thank you so much.
And there's a couple of things that I want to ask you. One thing, when it comes to building salons, and we're going to get into this in a few minutes, but I want to dig into building teams and what that looks like in a business that's growing as fast as the salon you were running, or salons, I guess, as fast as they did. But before we get into that, share with the audience how you learned everything you know and how you got there. Like, give us that little history lesson we were kind of touching on.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a great question. Yeah. I grew up in one of the biggest, baddest beauty parlors in northern New Jersey, right next to New York. And I had the opportunity to have a front and center stage to see what a quality team looks like, what that means, how to build, how to recruit, how to train, how to motivate, how to really be an exceptional leader. And growing up in a beauty parlor, as I said, my father was an entrepreneur, and he taught me almost everything I know. And it was pretty amazing. His style of recruiting, which I also took on, was locating people who had the it factor, and when I say it factor, that means energy, that means charisma, that means excitement. Like, you need to get excited about what you do every day. And that's what I tried to implement in my business model.
Got it. So the it factor. Now, I really like that term. And it sounds like it's hard to define, though. So when you talk about energy, like, is there something that you can, like a phrase you can use to describe somebody other than just the energy to it? Like, if I know somebody and I connect with them, how do I know if they've got the it factor?
Oh, you'll know because you'll connect with them. And when you come in, there's some things that you just can't teach. It's innate. It's in you. And either you have it's it's contagious, the energy. Does that make sense? It's like it draws you in. It's heavy in it. And a lot of people don't have it. They come in and they're just mediocre, but like we learned with Grant Cardone at the 10X with his seminar, you have to be the best. You got to be the best. And that's, I think, in essence, what it is. It's taking that work, developing it to being the best.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I've got so many questions for you for so many reasons. But where I want to go next is talking about like building the team. So you talked about the it factor and the people, but in a salon, there's many different roles. There's many different positions. And in your salons, was it a setup where your team, your stylists were like on share rental agreements and were contractors, or were they employees?
They were employees because booth rental is not legal in New Jersey, although people do it. It is not legal. Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So they were employees.
Gotcha. And what do you feel like the biggest challenge was growing businesses to the level that you did, with not only the one that you were managing before, but your own that you just sold? What would you say the number one challenge was, that growth?
Oh boy, finding talent, finding really great talent. A lot of people go to school for hair and they say, "Oh, I went because I didn't really know what I wanted to do." And so interesting, the majority of them that go into hair and don't want to do hair winds up going into nursing. So yes, that's a interesting fact about beauty salons. They really do because you know, I'm just going to throw this out there. The one thing I learned in beauty school from day one was that barbers were able to perform nursing procedures. I don't know if you knew that. Just a fun fact about hair. Yes, early on in infancy, they were. So there is an interesting correlation there. Uh, but um, to answer your question, uh, you know, I think that the most challenging thing was finding people who were really in it, creative, motivated, wanting to learn, wanting to be sponges and soak up that education and evolve their skill set. You know, it's not it takes a lot to be the best. It takes a lot of training to be an amazing hairdresser. So really finding them, getting them motivated, getting them on board, wanting to teach them about sales and having them actually implement that, you know, at the conclusion of every service, showing them the product, showing them how to sell the product. That's another thing. Sales training is very important. And it's not always so easy when you get stylists in that are either kind of set in their ways or not so coachable. And so I think it's important to you know stay coachable through your career. And that was the challenges I had finding I think stylists that kind of you know knew it all. You know.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, I see an interesting correlation between the stylists and people building sales teams or like small businesses looking for their first few sales reps because you're not probably going to hire someone that's brand new, fresh out of school.
Mm-hmm.
But with
Right.
experience comes habits, comes
Yes. Yes.
expectations, and it's I mean in sales it's you know, do you train someone who seems to have an outgoing personality how to be a good salesperson, or do you find someone who's got the experience and is a good salesperson and try to help them fit the culture that you have? Now for me on the sales side, I really like um I want to make sure that they have the cultural fit from the start because
Right.
I don't want to try to change somebody's core values, right? But in the salon space, how did you? Because in my experience, barbers and stylists, um, depending on their experience, they can be very opinionated, and the whole day is spent, you know, talking to customers, and so they can be very outgoing in some great ways and some maybe challenging ways. How did you manage that dynamic?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, it's not easy. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of patience, and continuing to ensure this. You know, I always had an employee handbook. That
Mm,
was so important. When we start, this is what's expected. You must read it. You must sign it. And and this was a tool that was so valuable to really eliminate exactly what you're talking about, the person who has maybe a bad habit, a person who you know can execute in one way but fall short in the next. And I think upon accepting the position, really ensuring they understand their title and their responsibilities, um, you know it helps to bring that back and to have weekly meetings and weekly meetings are really important too, to keep everybody on point. You cannot become complacent. You know, you can't. You have to stay regimented with that, going over it and over it and over it, because they can get laxed in their way of doing things. So that's on the I think the responsibility of the owner or the manager to make sure that they know what they need to be doing every day.
So, do you have like a specific formula or structure that works really well for these weekly meetings, or is it sort of just get together and have a conversation?
I think that we check in. I think that for a general weekly meeting, it's a check in. It's how are we feeling? What goals do we need to hit? What did, you know, where are we with sales? What can we do to get in 5 new customers, 10 new customers, 15 new, you know, uh, where can I help you? How can I help you to achieve that? Because they look to you as the leader. They don't know. They don't always know. And it's on you to make sure you're bringing in the latest education, you're bringing in the latest products, you're getting them excited every week to be there, to want to be there, to want to make money, and to want to provide the best customer service. That's so
Mm.
important too, because how gratifying is that when a client walks away, is all smiles, left you that really awesome review? Like, those are the motivators.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I talk about in my meetings.
and you made a really good point that I want to highlight is the importance of the owner or the manager staying excited and owning the part of making sure that the team feels like they're up to date, whether it's training, whether it's products, but your enthusiasm is what drives all the momentum of the team,
Right.
right? Like I know for me, whenever in teams with clients, and if there was a major lack of clarity to me on a few things, there's no way, well, not no way, but it was very challenging for me to create a false sense of excitement when I
Mhm.
wasn't sincerely feeling it for something.
Sure. You're
Now,
right.
right now, as a manager or as an owner, do you have any suggestions for maybe people watching that might be in that position where whether it's a salon or not, they've got a team, they got to have the game face on, their energy defines the energy of the entire group. If they're not feeling it, if I'm not feeling it, but I need to go and have a meeting with my team,
Mhm.
how do I handle it? Do I fake it till I make it, or am I transparent?
Wow, that's a great question. I think it can go a couple different ways. I think, if you're not motivated consistently, maybe you need to look at yourself and reevaluate, if this is the job position for you. Because I think you should be excited about what you do every day. I know I was and am so excited every single day, wanting to deliver customer service, wanting to teach people. And and I think that there's something also really nice about transparency because it makes you relatable as a person. Uh, I've written manuals on this, and I always encourage people to check it at the door and really, you have to understand you're there to be there. And I know life isn't easy. It's not, and I think maybe in the meetings it's good to voice that, but you have to, as an owner, no matter what, really, really, really put that game face on. You got to do it. They're relying on you for it. And
Hmm.
that's not for everybody. It's not, but you really can't go in if you're having a bad day. You can't go in, upset. You've got to leave it. I hate that I have to say that, and I always did.
It comes back to the Spider-Man situation, right? With great power comes great responsibility,
That's right.
and
That is
and
right.
and a lot of the
Yeah.
times, I feel like owners and managers don't really process the weight of being responsible for the success of the team.
Mhm. Absolutely.
That's huge.
It really does all fall back on you. So it is important to try and fake it till you make it if you can.
Mhm.
If you can. And if you can't, maybe have an understudy. That was another thing I always said. You must find somebody to compensate where you're limited because we can't all be 100% all the time. It's impossible. It's very, 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 very challenging. So if you can, if you're fortunate enough to have an understudy, somebody there to kind of just pick up the slack if you're falling short that day. That's also a very valuable tool to have.
I like that a lot. I was like, oh, I like that idea. So yeah, every time you see me with my head down, I'm taking notes. I've got 2 pages of notes here already. What you're saying. So um, yeah, no, this is fantastic. Just because there's so many parallels between a salon business and any kind of professional sales environment. Like the
Yes.
same challenges happen for real estate agents, right? You have a
Right. Well,
brokerage, yeah, and it's
absolutely.
yeah.
But hairdressers, they are salesmen. They're selling their services.
Mhm.
Hairdressers are salesmen. They're selling the product. They're teaching you how to get this style at home, how to achieve that fantastic salon finished look at home, you know? So they have to sell. That's and that's what I think sales is so important to train, because it's not just a cut. It's not just a haircut. It's so much more. It's a consultation. It's connecting. It's selling another service. Once they're in your chair, now you have the opportunity to sell them something else. So hairdressers are really sensational salesmen, I'd say.
The good ones are.
Yeah, the good ones are with the it factor. Yes, they are.
Right? Exactly. Fantastic. So I want to dig in now a little bit more into what's on the horizon for you. So we talked a little bit about you being in the process of developing this curriculum. You managed one business and then went on and took over another one, bought it and built your own up and then sold it. So you've got the it factor from the perspective of, can I turn this salon into a multi-million-dollar company?
Yes.
How do you see that skill set translating to the curriculum you're developing?
Oh, well, I'm very excited about the curriculum I'm developing. It's a little bit different than what anybody has ever done. I am targeting a niche in the market. I started as a children's hair specialist, which is, they're rare. They're really rare to find. You see these big franchises popping up now and these kid salons, but if you look at the reviews and you can go in and get a haircut for yourself. They're hairdressers that are afraid to cut children's hair. They're terrified to cut children's hair, but they're doing it because they want to work, they want to learn. But from what I have seen, there isn't a very strong curriculum in place, and that's where I come in. And I am teaching the masses how to execute the best children's haircut without a hair out of place in 7 minutes flat. And I can do that. I know how to do it, the haircut itself from start to finish. And in 15 minutes, I give you the consultation, the haircut, 4 different ways to style it. We close, and I teach them how to close and how to rebook to make sure that it's continuous. They're coming back every month. The goal is to focus on retention. The goal is to get referrals and to really do it, not just say it, to really do this. And that's what I want to teach. And I want to do it in a way, I think, to target this niche because it is so lucrative. There's no reason to be afraid, but children can be scary if you don't know how to handle them. They kick, they vomit, they bite. Things I've gotten kicked. I can't even tell you the places I've gotten kicked, Jeremy. It's not fun. So this is something that I think is very beneficial to help hairdressers achieve their goals, to help business owners train their stylists, to develop a new niche for their industry, and to not fear it. To not fear it, because it's really, really very special being able to work with children.
I love it. I love it. So,
Yes.
before I tell everybody how to get in contact with you,
Yeah.
who, how would somebody know if they're in the place where they should be reaching out to you?
Oh boy, that's a great question. I would say if they are excited to make money, if they're excited to evolve their skill set, if they are interested in learning new techniques, I'm your girl. That's it, and I'll teach you how to do it from start to finish.
And would this be specifically the stylist reaching out individually, or would maybe an owner reach out to you to have you train the stylists?
I think it would be great to have owners reach out. I'm even developing this with the hopes to integrate it into a curriculum at beauty schools because it is a huge niche. As I said, you see franchises popping up everywhere. They're really fun. The designs, the haircuts are not always so up to par, and that's what I want to help people achieve. And I think if an owner reached out and wanted to learn more about the curriculum, it would help drive sales infinitely. I mean, it just skyrocket because the haircuts, if a hairdresser knows how to sell their services, how to sell themselves, how to get those reviews, how to get their name out there, how to really dominate the market, You know, you have to really know to dominate the market. And I teach you how to do that with children's haircuts.
I love it. I love it. So now I want to dive into what I think is my favorite part of the show, which is the lightning round. All right. So we got a few quick questions we're going to fly through. Don't overthink them. But this is where we get to know a little bit more about you. So we know that coffee is for closers. What is your favorite coffee or comparable drink?
Oh, I'm basic. I'm that basic girl. I want my pumpkin spice latte, especially right now.
I love it. What is one book or movie that you would recommend someone to watch if they want to get better at sales or leading a team?
Sure. I would say the 10X rule is really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's a fantastic, just because that's where we
Yep.
we met, but that has helped me so much. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Love it.
And How to Win Friends and Influence People. Great book.
Ooh, love it. Yes, Dale Carnegie. That's a classic for sure.
Absolutely.
Who is someone that's been a mentor in your life?
Well, that's a good question. I would say my 97-year-old Uncle Mark, and I say that because his age is so impressive, and he, again, a family. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, but he built quite a fur business, and it was a master at sales and marketing. Pretty incredible. So he's been a very big mentor of mine.
Awesome. Now, I think my most fun question of the lightning round is, what is the strangest thing you do in your daily routine to keep you on your game?
I sing show tunes to myself. I make up little show tunes. and, and I'll just, because I sing, I'm a singer too. So I will, but I will, so, just like whatever it is about. And I'll write myself a little motivating show tune and start performing. But it keeps me going, keeps me chipper.
Excellent, excellent. And my final question for you is, how do you define success?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say I define success by always staying true to who you are, being having integrity, staying ethical in all of your business endeavors, and being kind in business, because customers aren't always so kind. Hairdressers or stylists or in any business, they have their days. Life is stressful, especially what's going on right with everything that's going on right now. And I think always staying kind, that's important. That's success. If you can be kind and you can provide exceptional customer service, you're successful. In my
Awesome. I love it. So thank you so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are watching, that are listening, whether it's live on Headspace TV or the replay, or you're listening to the podcast on salesteamrescue.com, I want you to go find Jessie by going onto LinkedIn and searching Jessie Alexandra. If you're watching the video, you'll see it scrolling along the bottom as well. But that's Jessie Alexandra on LinkedIn. And reach out. She will hook you up. She will take care of you. If you want to grow your salon with children's haircuts and do it in a way that's going to make an impact and pretty significant income too, then you want to reach out. So thanks so much, Jessie. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Jeremy. It was so much fun. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm glad you could be here. And for those of you watching, remember to catch the replay of this episode and previous episodes, go to salesteamrescue.com. And if you would like to book your own sales team blueprinting session with yours truly, that link is also at salesteamrescue.com. We will see you right here next week, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern on Headspace TV. Remember, guys, get uncomfortable, get results. Cheers.
Thank you.